What is the difference between a fairy tale and a war story? Fairy tales begin once upon a time. War stories begin, no kidding, there I was. So this is not a war story. This is simply a observation of the correlation between what happens in the military environment and what happens in corporate business environment versus small business environment. In a military unit, there's a commander and there's the subordinate commands that actually go out and do the thing. And then there's a staff, and a second in command is in charge of the staff and is available to step in as the commander in the case of the commander being disposed, otherwise unavailable. In a corporation, we call those staffs the C-suite. And so there is a chief financial officer, who in the military might be a G8. There's someone who's in charge of supplies and distribution, which in the military we would call a G4. A G1 is in charge of personnel, human resources. All of these C-suite level people, small businesses cannot afford, but yet they need all of those specialty staff functions. And so the purpose of a fractional CFO, a fractional CMO, a fractional COO, a fractional director of human resources, a fractional CTO, chief technology officer, chief of the IT department, or director of IT, is to have all the virtual functionality of having a staff, of having a C-suite, but where you have a case where it's a sole proprietor, owner operator, maybe even an LLC with a handful of owners, but not with all those specialty skills that would constitute what, coming from a military environment, I would call a staff. In corporate America, we call it the C-suite. They have specialty staff functions within or staff within them, and they might actually function as a profit center, especially the HR department or the IT department. But in the end, they are a supporting function to the business operating units that are actually revenue producing for the company. In a small business, you have the company, its revenue producing activities. How do you manage all of the staff functionality? Through fractional or virtual specialists. I'm Keith, I'm the bald guy. I do marketing plans as a fractional CMO for small businesses and nonprofits.